Hi guys, welcome to Learn Max Easily channel and I am your tutor and I hope you have watched the before video which I have been posted of this unit and this is the continuation of that video. So let's we start our class. Now today our topic is see they will give us some number with root value and they will ask us to prove that root value is irrational. Okay, so what they have given here, I want you guys to have your textbook in your hand so that it be easy for you to understand, and if you have any doubt regarding anything, text me in the comment section. I'll clear it in my upcoming videos. Okay, now okay, the first question that is being asked here is prove that root 2 is irrational. So what we need to assume before that, we need to they have asked us to prove us irrational. So our first step here is to we need to assume the given number to be rational in all the cases. Okay, irrespective of the number that has been given to prove to be irrational, in all the cases we need to prove that the given we need to assume that the given number is rational. Okay, we need to assume the given number in the question to be rational. So over here they are given root 2 in the example 1.3. Yes, now see they have assumed the number root 2 to be rational. That will be the first step. Okay, so and you make sure that while solving these problems you are writing your answers step by step so that it really avoids confusion, and the order of sequence of the whole problem will be in the correct order, or else there will be you know you may miss some steps or it may become a confusion and you will repeat the same steps again and again, at last concluding as a wrong answer. Okay, so kindly listen this and move step by step in this problem. Okay, yes, the first step is we are assuming that the given number is rational. So over here root 2 is rational. Okay, so for number to be rational we can represent that rational number in the form of p by q, where p and q are integers and particularly q is not equal to 0. The q is not equal to 0 and the p and q are co-prime. So these two conditions you need to specify while writing your second step. What is it? We are representing the number in the form of p by q, where q is not equal to 0 and p and q are co-prime. Okay, we are representing root 2 as in the form of p by q, where p and q are co-prime and the most important thing after writing this is you need to specify in the next line as q is not equal to 0. So this is the second step. Now we need to say 1 minute. uh, okay, q is not equal to 0. Okay, this is the first step. Fine. Now the next what we need to do is over here we are just cross multiplying, so it becomes as P equal to Q root 2. Okay, we are cross multiplying this, so we arrive P equal to Q root 2. Okay, now this will be the second step. The third step, what happens to the third step is we need to remove this root value. This root should be removed. So what we are doing is squaring both sides. Okay, we are squaring both sides, so we get P square is equal to, what we arrive is P square is equal to 2Q square. Okay, P square is equal to 2Q square. Okay, so by this we come to the conclusion that this this P square is divisible by 2. Okay, by this equation we arrive that P square is divisible by 2. So if P square is divisible by 2, then also P is divisible by 2. Okay, if P square is divisible by 2, then P is also divisible by 2. Okay, now let me introduce another integer over here. What it is now, say for example P is equal to 2R. Okay, P is equal to 2R. Okay, now substitute this over here. We are assuming, or we can write the P in terms of R integer as P is equal to 2R. So why? Because P is divisible by 2. R can be of any value. Okay, so we are writing this P divided by 2, P is divisible by 2 as P is equal to 2R. Now substitute this over here. What happens? This this 2R, that means this P square is being changes to 2R the whole square. This P square, wait, this, yes, this P square is being changes to 2R square. So 2R, that means 2R the whole square, because it is a P square, right? So it changes to 2R the whole square, that is equal to 2Q square. Okay, the 2R whole square is 4R square, that is equal to 2Q square. Understood? This 2 square is 4, R square is R square, this 2Q square as same as such it has been written. Cancelling these two sides, it becomes 2R square. So what happens over here is this Q square is equal to 2R square. So with this what we conclude, 2 divides Q. So with this equation we arrive this one, 2 divides Q. Yeah, Q square, so also Q. See, if Q square is divisible by 2, then Q is also divisible by 2. So what we get is P and Q have a common factor, right? what we arrive is P and Q have a common factor, that is 2. See, every number has a common factor of 1 and the number itself, that we guys know, that we have studied right from our younger classes, right? So this two numbers as a factor 2 and 1 on itself. So with this, what we conclude, like what we contradict, as we assumed in the beginning, that the number root 2 which has been given in the question has to be rational. Due to these circumstances, what we conclude is that our assumption that root 2 is rational is wrong, because it is arrived, the net result is arrived is due to this assumption. So according to this assumption, we got the wrong answer. So we conclude that the root 2 value which we assumed as rational is irrational. Okay, so I again repeat what we did from the first we took root 2 to be a rational number. A rational number is to be represented by the form of p by q. Then what we did, we cross multiplied. After cross multiplying, we just squared both sides. After squaring both sides, we told that this right side number which we got is divisible by 2. Then we took an assumption that a equal to, or whatever it is, p equal to 2r, this r to be sum of the integer. Now again squaring it, we got what we arrived is b. Here over here they have told b square equal to 2c square. So with respect to, again we get that the result is to be divided by the 2. So with these assumptions, we arrive that this assumption of root 2 is rational to be failure 1. So at last proving it to be an irrational number. Okay, so the same step for each and everything, the same 5 steps is to be repeated for all the sum that has been asked in the furthermost cases of in this lesson, to prove that a given number is irrational. Okay, see, yes, now we will see the next question, that is 5 minus root 3 is irrational. They are asking us to prove 5 minus root 3 to be irrational. Again the same step which I told is to be followed, that sequence steps which I told before sum, for the before sum, the same has to be followed, the same sequence steps to be followed to get the result value that 5 minus root 3 is irrational. Right, first what we need to assume is, as I told you, the first step is we need to assume 5 minus root 3 is rational. Yes, the same step, right? After assuming this, we need to, what we need to equate this is 5 minus root 3, 1 minute, it is 5 minus root 3 is equal to p by q, or a by b, whatever it is, no problem. Okay, now what they have done in this sum is a small change, nothing to be nothing to be complicated, a small change. Instead of the previous sum, what they did is they are taking this value to the another side, that is 5 minus p by q is equal to root 3. That is, this value is gone here and this has came here. Okay, that's nothing much change. Now what they have did is they are taking LCM for this one. So what we arrive is 5q minus p by q is equal to root 3, right? We get this value. So okay, now this, that is 5 minus pq, this value is rational because it is being expressed in the form of p by q. So what we know that is uh, yes, okay, what we know that is 5 minus pq, that is 5 minus p by q is rational because it is in the form of p by q. It is rational as we assumed before too, right? The same thing, it is rational. And so before, like the thing which we proved before sum, what we proved is root 3 is irrational, right? So here root 3 is irrational, right? The last sum which we proved root 3 is irrational, the same step has to be written for like two lines, right? That root 3's cannot be expressed in the form of p by q, so root 3 is irrational. So what we are writing is this 5 minus p by q is rational and the equivalent value root 3 is irrational. So when we, like this 5 minus p by q is rational, that is being equalized to root 3 means root 3 should be rational, but we know that root 3 is irrational. So by this what we conclude, the assumption by made by us that 5 minus root 3 is rational is wrong. I repeated, we are getting the value as 5 minus p by q is equal to root 3. 5 minus p by q is rational. So by this assumption or by this conclusion which we got that 5 minus p by q is root 3, we know that root 3 is rational. So we already proved back as root 3 is irrational. So our contradiction over here as 5 minus root 3 is rational has become wrong because root 3 is irrational. Therefore our assumption is incorrect. We need to conclude it by the problem or the, what to say, this contradiction has arisen because of our wrong assumption. So we conclude that this 5 minus root 3 is to be irrational. So that's it, the conclusion that is to be given for this problem, right? Yes, so we conclude 5 minus root 3 is irrational. Okay, now I'll erase this everything. Okay, fine, this, okay, right, yes, everything is cleared now. Okay, now the next question, 3 root 2 is irrational. Again the same thing, first what the step we saw, we need to assume this to be rational. Okay, we are assuming this 3 root 2 to be rational and equating 3 root 2 with the form p by q. Now again what we are doing, cross multiplication. Here they are doing as root 2 equal to p by 3q, no problem, whatever the thing, answer should be the same, answer will be the same, right? Okay, now p by 3q is in the form of rational. So because of this equation, that is both are equal, we arrive that root 2 is rational, but we already know that root 2 is irrational, right? We guys already proved what is root 2 and root 2 is irrational. So by this we contradict that 3 root 2 is not rational but an irrational number. That's it. For one question, that is for concluding that root 2 is an irrational number, we we derived 4 to 5 steps, but after that within 3 steps we can conclude our answer if we get root 2 or like something like root 3. These questions in between the entire question that has been asked, by saying that we already conclude that this number is irrational. So with respect to this number, we are arriving that the entire sum is irrational. That's it. So for proving that one question, you need to write what is the thing which I told you. Then for the rest we can conclude by saying that this is like this, because of this one is irrational. That's it. Okay. Yes. Now we'll see what is the exercise problem that has been given. The exercise problem, the first question in the exercise 1.2 is prove that root 5 is irrational. Okay. The same step has to be followed. The first step what we arrive is root 5 is equal to, yes, root 5, assume root 5 is rational. This step is most important. You need to write the sentence, let us assume root 5 to be rational. This is most important because you cannot just directly mean what root 5 is equal to p by q. They won't, if you write this as your first step, I'm sure they won't even give you a single mark. They won't, because directly we cannot say root 5 is equal to p by q before our assumption. Okay. Before writing this line, just don't forget it. Before writing this, assume root 5 is rational. You should not write this line, because if you start with this line, I am damn sure they won't even give you 1 mark, because the entire sequence is wrong. Okay. So our first and foremost step always, so just remember, this is not science or some other subject. We can just write the story of the entire thing. Now this first step is to be first step when it comes under max. Okay. So our first step is we need to assume the given number is rational. Second step is root 5 is equal to p by q. Third step is again, you need to cross multiply. Okay. While we cross multiply, we get p equal to q root 5. Okay. This is our third step. Now our fourth step will be squaring both sides, so we get p square equal to 5q square. So what happens to the p will be, p square is equal to 5q square. So what will we arrive is p square is divisible by 5. So by this way we can say that p is divisible by 5. So with this, what we arrive, p is divisible by 5. So by this, p and q are not coprime. So this is to be, or this should be written at the last, that p and q are not coprime. This sentence is more important while you are concluding your answer. At last, after writing this step, you need to tell that p and q are not coprimes, because why, it is also divisible, so it cannot be a coprime number. So you need to mention that p and q are not coprimes. So our assumption that root 5 is rational is wrong. Okay. So if root 5 is rational by our assumption is wrong, then what we are going to do, root 5 is irrational. Okay. That's it. So we have proved that root 5 is irrational number. Okay. Yes. Now let me work out the second sum too, because again the same thing which we have seen in the last example, that 5 minus root 3 is irrational. But some students, while they are working out the example sums of the same model, they find easy, but if they try the exercise sums, I know the difficulty of the students facing how to proceed the next step. So I will work out the second sum, that is 3 plus 2 root 5 also, and the first sum of the third one, the 1 by root 2. Okay, yes, now let's we see what how to prove or how to you know move the next step in 3 plus 2 root 5 to be irrational. Okay, yes, now the same step, we are assuming 3 plus 2 root 5 to be rational. Okay, this is our first step, and what we are going to do, we have to express that p by q equal to 3 plus 2 root 5, then cross multiply, we get what we get is, yes, p by q is equal to 3 plus 2 root 5. Yes, now we need to bring this 3 to the this side. Yes, p by q minus 3 is equal to 2 root 5. Okay, see, first step, this is our thing which is to be proven. This is our first step, second step, third step, right? P by q minus 3 is equal to 2 root 5. This 2 can be brought to the other side, so it is 1 by 2 into p by q minus 3. Okay, 1 by 2 into p by q minus 3. So by this itself we can conclude that p and q are integers. Thus the thing which we arrived as 1 by 2 into p by q minus 3 is rational. Okay, so therefore root 5 over here is also rational. Understood? Root 5 is also rational. But 1 minute, I will just clear my screen. We get root 5 is also rational. We already proven in the before sum that root 5 is irrational. So this is the correct thing. So this is a wrong conclusion which we got. So this is because the assumption which we assumed in the starting stage. So by this we conclude that our our assumption is wrong. Therefore the given question 3 plus 2 root 5 is irrational. Like this you need to conclude, so as that the the step mark and the entire mark of this question, it may be whatever, will be granted fully, which irrespective of the school or whatever thing you study, right? Yes, now with this exercise, your the first unit of your syllabus is been completed. Now I want you guys to thoroughly watch these videos again and again, and you guys try the third sum. That is, there are 3 subdivisions. You guys try the third sum by the same method which I worked out for first 2 sums. And if you have any doubt in the proceeding next following steps, kindly post it in the comment section. I will just work out the third sum again in or third sum again in another video, and I'll post it in the next video as our rational numbers session. Right now, uh, the weightage of this lesson, weightage of real numbers in upcoming board exam is for 5 marks. Yes, they have let out the weightage. You can check it out. For 5 marks, the weightage of this lesson, real numbers, is being announced by the board. So you guys have this in your mind, and the thing which you need to study is this rational or irrational is more important. This compulsorily they can ask, the irrespective of mark, the total mark is 5 mark, they may ask you for 3 or even fully for 5. Irrespective of that, you just study this question pakka, because the same step you need to conclude, that is 5 steps as I told you for all the numbers that has been given. Okay, irrespective of the numbers, the same 5 step is to be concluded to prove whether the number given number is rational or irrational. So this is pakka, they will give you for 5 marks, that is, yeah, 3 or 5 marks fully. They may give you a chance, if you have luck, you have all the 5 marks for this simple question in the first unit. The first unit, real numbers, carries of 5 marks in the entire paper, entire board exam paper. You will have this for 5 marks. That has been latest update from the CBSE. Okay, so thank you guys, and I am signing off with you, and I want you guys to post the doubts in the comment section if you have anything further, or any questions which you undergo from your school, like in your class test or assignment questions, anything. You just text me in the comment section. If I receive that, I will work it out in another video and I'll post it, whatever the question may be. Okay, thank you.